In the world of ufology, there are a handful of cases that stand apart. Cases so strange, so detailed, and so packed with witnesses that they challenge even the most hardened skeptics. We all know about Roswell, the alleged crash in the New Mexico desert that became the stuff of legend. But what if I told you that nearly 50 years later, another event took place, one arguably even more compelling, more direct, and more terrifying? An event often called Brazil's Roswell. This is the story of Varginha. Imagine a quiet, rainy afternoon in January 1996 in the Brazilian city of Varginha, a place known more for its coffee beans than for cosmic encounters. 3 young women, 2 sisters, Lilian and Valkyria, and their friend Katja, are taking a familiar shortcut home. As they cut through a vacant lot, they stop dead in their tracks. Crouched by a wall is something they can't process. It's not an animal. It's not a person. Terrified, they run home screaming to their mother that they've seen the devil. Their description, given in the raw moments of terror, has remained consistent for decades. They saw a creature, maybe 4 or 5 feet tall, with a frail body and a large hairless brown head. Its skin seemed dark, oily, and covered in pulsing veins. It had a tiny mouth, a small nose, but its eyes were enormous, red, and didn't seem to blink. The creature wasn't threatening. In fact, they said it seemed weak, confused, maybe even scared. When the girl's mother went to the spot, the creature was gone, but a strange, overpowering smell, like ammonia, hung in the air. This one incredible sighting could be dismissed, an overreaction, a trick of the light. But it wasn't an isolated event. It was just the moment the dam broke. Because on that very same day, the city of Varginha was buzzing with activity that was anything but normal. In the early morning hours, before the girls had their encounter, the local fire department had already been called out to the same neighborhood to capture a strange animal. According to anonymous military sources who later came forward, what they captured was no animal. It was a creature, just like the one the girls described. It was allegedly put in a wooden box and handed over to a Brazilian army patrol. Then that evening, another report. A second creature was supposedly captured, this time by the military police. And this is where the story takes a dark and tragic turn. A 23-year-old police officer named Marco Eli Cerese was reportedly part of that capture team. In the heat of the moment, it said he touched the creature with his bare hands. Within days, Officer Cerese, a young, healthy man, fell desperately ill. A mysterious infection ravaged his body. Doctors were baffled. No antibiotic worked. As his condition worsened, he reportedly broke his silence and confessed to his doctor, telling him he'd had direct physical contact with a non-human being. He was hoping it would help them find a cure. It didn't. Less than a month after the incident, Marco Eli Cerese was dead. The official cause was a bacterial infection, but the source was never identified. His family says the military pressured them, stonewalled their requests for his full medical records, and insisted on a closed casket funeral. So, what was going on in Varginha? The official military inquiry, released years later, had an answer for everything. That creature the girls saw? It was a well-known local homeless man, mentally disabled, nicknamed Mudinho. They said he was probably crouching in the rain, and the girls mistook him. The massive military presence, the army trucks blocking off streets? Just routine vehicle maintenance and troop movements that happened to be scheduled for that day. The commotion at the local hospitals? A misunderstanding. Witnesses had simply seen an expectant couple who had dwarfism. Each explanation, on its own, sounds plausible, but when you put them all together, it starts to sound like a series of coincidences so extraordinary it's almost less believable than the original story. The witnesses have always been adamant. The girls knew Mudinho, and what they saw was not him. Military personnel described operations that were far from routine, and none of these explanations account for that powerful, persistent, ammonia-like smell reported independently by the girl's mother and by anonymous staff at the hospital where a creature was allegedly taken. The story gets even bigger. Investigators who swarmed the town in the aftermath, men like Vittorio Paccaccini and Adamar Gevard, pieced together a timeline that went beyond Varginha. They collected testimony from anonymous military sources and even an air traffic controller who claimed the two captured beings were eventually transported to a military base and then handed over to the Americans. The story goes that a U.S. Air Force transport plane made an unscheduled, unauthorized landing to pick up the precious cargo. For years, this story was a legend in UFO circles. Then, in 2022, the documentary Moment of Contact brought it to a global audience, presenting first-hand testimony from witnesses who had never spoken on camera before, including Officer Cereze's own doctor and sister. Their pain and conviction are palpable. So what is the legacy of Varginha? The city itself has embraced the story. Today you can visit Varginha and see a giant spaceship-shaped water tower in the town square. The bus stops look like flying saucers. You can buy alien dolls. The myth has become a part of the city's identity, a source of tourism and pride. But at its heart, the Varginha Incident remains a profound mystery. It's a case built not on grainy photos or distant lights in the sky, but on direct, close-range, human testimony. It pits the word of dozens of seemingly credible, consistent witnesses against the official denials of a military institution. Was it a case of mass hysteria, fueled by a sensationalist media, where a series of unrelated, mundane events were woven into a grand, fantastic narrative? Or did a quiet Brazilian city truly become the site of one of the most significant events in human history, an event that was witnessed by ordinary people and then systematically, tragically covered up? The file on Varginha is still open, and it forces us to ask a difficult question. Who do you believe? The people who say they were there, or the officials who say nothing ever happened at all?